Hi, my name is Mark Verdon. I'm a monetary economist. In this video, I want to talk about the coming economic boom in Ukraine. I want to address it in two aspects. First aspect is the declining demographics of Ukraine and what happens in countries when you have declining demographics. And the second is my perspective from living in Poland over many years, which is a parallel country. It's very close geographically and similar in culture. So the first aspect I want to talk about is the declining demographics. There's a claim out there specifically by Peter Zeihan, who's somebody I respect, intelligent guy, pro-Ukraine, from my understanding. He claims that declining demographics, and there's others that claim this, generally hurt the economy. This is based on a Malthusian understanding of economics and a reboot by Alvin Hansen from the 1930s during the Great Depression. Similarly, there was Larry Summers, 2013, who echoed this during the Great Stagnation and implying that natural rate, real interest rates are actually negative. And this all stems from a declining demographics and an aging population. And when you have an aging population and declining workforce demographics of people contributing, you also have decreased demand because the people in this demographic are usually spending the most. When you're older or retired, maybe you have a little hobble and you're just buying some groceries or whatever on Social Security. And my claim is that is the opposite of what happens. And let's look at historical experience. This is relevant for Ukraine because specifically the claim out there is Ukraine has declining demographics. And post-war, it could have 30, 50 years of declining demographics. And it's been put out there that this is a problem for Ukraine. But historically, let's look at some historical examples. The Byzantine Empire in the 5th century had declining demographics, and yet they had a boom. The Western Empire, Rome fell. Byzantine, as a result, has some demographic problems that continued perpetually, and yet the economics of Byzantine increased. Also, we have a Black Plague, 1347, 1352. Between 30% and 50% of the known world's population disappeared, let's say. And as a result, we had a massive demographic shift. But the net result in years after was an economic boom, land ownership redistributed, there was capital improvements, capitalism took root, and eventually trade, and it ushered the Renaissance. Another is 1618, 30 Years' War, tremendous demographic decline in Europe, and yet the result afterwards was, again, an economic prosperity and boom. Now, also there's some modern examples. Germany and Japan, post-war, 1940s and 50s. Marshall Plan, 1947, 1952. And then it continued a little bit after that. And similarly in Japan, you had a significant economic boom despite demographic decline. Japan in the 2000s, demographic decline, yes, standard of living, life expectancies continued to increase. You also had, in modern world, you had Estonia. Estonia, demographic decline, yet they've mitigated it, economic prosperity. And my country, Poland, I'm American, but I'm also Polish. My country, Poland, I was living in the 90s, 2000s, and today, demographic decline, yet tremendous economic boom. Okay, we're going to talk about that. So when there's a claim that Ukraine has a problem with demographic decline, it's because people don't understand it. Capitalism, markets, free trade. That's what determines wealth. Adam Smith, 1776. Capitalism, free trade, free markets, and a stable government. So when Ukraine gets under this NATO umbrella, it doesn't matter if they join the EU or not as much. It's a NATO umbrella. You have free movement of labor and capital. You have great benefit. It doesn't matter because you can mitigate that with technology, AI. People are now working in factories like in the time of Charles Dickens, and everybody goes, so you need factory workers. You don't need factory workers today. What you need is intelligent brains, and that can come from anywhere in society. The rich or the poor. Every great person has a pirate and a king in their genealogy. Ukrainian people are similar to Polish people. They're really geeky. They're really IT oriented. this type of technology, this input, you don't need masses of people. You need just a few brains working. So I would expect an economic boom in Ukraine. Watching and witnessing this demographic decline in Poland, actually it's been upticking now because there's so much prosperity here. When I came here, everyone is like, wow, you're an American. And they go, now I don't even know if I'm the richest guy here. I'm probably one of the poorest. I think I'm below average. People here, everybody has Babcha Jadik's apartment and, countryside place, and they're vacationing all over the world. Vacationing in Vietnam, Greece, Italy. So it's a pretty wealthy country here. And now, because of that wealth and prosperity, the native population, I'm not talking about the influx of Ukrainians, the actual population is increasing. There's some government programs. You get additional money if you have children, and that goes to culture and books and all these great things. Population is increasing in Poland. So demographics turn around. So how does this relate to Ukraine? I know I haven't been talking about Ukraine that much. It's the same parallel country. It typically takes 5 years to clean the rubble. And in 20 years, Ukraine might be the richest country in Europe, bold claim. They have 13 trillion in mineral wealth. They have tremendous, the breadbasket of all of Europe, and they can feed the world because of their rich black earth. They have bright minds economically. It happened in the leprechaun economics in Ireland, became from the poorest country in Europe to the richest country. Once you have free market movement of trade, so there's very optimistic times for Ukraine. And then people say, well, all these Ukrainians left. Let me just tell you what happened. All the Poles came back. And in fact, when I first came to Poland, or not first came to Poland, but in the 2000s, everybody's trying to learn this English. Now I come here, I don't feel a lot of English. It's like everybody just does Polish. There's no reason to learn English, fly to England, become whatever, a worker person. People are moving back. I see English people, American people moving here. So it's a reverse immigration. And when I talk to Ukrainians here in Ukraine, in Poland, and I talk to a lot of them, they all want to go back. As soon as there's peace, Ukraine has a lot to offer that other countries don't, that the European Union doesn't. And even if you had, let's just play this, Malthusian, Alvin Hansen reboot of this theory of demographic decline. Peter Zeihan kind of echoes. Peter Zeihan echoes it a lot. You can always turn on the tap and invite immigrants in, and if productive immigrants, screen them for qualifications. You could always do that. Shoot the moon. Money is like water. It moves back and forth, and it's very fluid. Most important thing is you stay optimistic and do not get negative about anything. When Ukraine wins and Russia loses, and it's going to happen, you're going to see a great economic boom. You're going to see more capital flowing into Ukraine from humanitarian and capitalistic economic aid than you've ever seen before. It will be the Ukrainian economic miracle. So stay tuned. Watch this happen. My name is Mark Biernot. I'm a monetary economist. Have a great day. Thank you very much.